Good morning, everybody. My name is Chris Silvano. I am the Oklahoma First Tech Challenge Regional League Judge Advisor. I've been in this role now for 3 seasons. Been in first for a total of 5. I've also had the opportunity to be a First Tech Challenge World Championship Judge Advisor last year. I'm looking forward to trying to do it again this year. We're going to go through some judging, and I know that you all are very focused on the game today, but judging is another integral component, and I know Bishop Kelly is sitting in on this, and I think they know how important judging is. So, So let's get started. There's a lot of content. We'll try and fit it within 30 minutes, and again, if you have any questions, I'll give you my email address afterwards. We'll go through Judging 101, the sessions, the portfolio, and the resources, and even for my more veteran teams, this is a good refresher of what we're looking for. So, for rookies, it's nice. For veterans, it's still important too. We're going to briefly go through the do's and don'ts of judging and your different components of judging. I'm always going to be referring back to Game Manual Part 1, Section 9, which is all of your judging information. This presentation won't cover Dean's List. Dean's List is individual driven, so where everybody here that goes through normal judging, you are going to be presenting as a team. Dean's List is nominating some, I believe it is juniors and seniors.
No, sophomores and juniors.
Sophomores and juniors. That's why I'm not the best person to talk to. You can feel free to talk to Ingrid, our senior mentor, or Travis, our program delivery partner, for that. And since this is a 101 and only 30 minutes, dates of the league tournaments, specifics about what paperwork, how to fill it out can come later. This is more about just, there's handouts that are going to be filled out later on in the season. Just know they exist, not how to fill them out. So let's go through Judging 101 real quick. In addition to the robot game you all are very excited to see today, you'll have the opportunity to talk to judges throughout the season about your challenges and your successes. And there are 2 important components. We'll go through the judging sessions and then the all-important engineering portfolio. Of course, the key thing with judging is that you have the opportunity to win awards, and this is a 1-sentence, 1-liner for each of the awards. Game Manual talks about this in more detail, but of course at the very top, Best in Show is your Inspire Award winner, a well-rounded team in their community and in STEM. Then you got Think, which focuses on the engineering journey in the engineering portfolio. You got your team awards. So Connect is having to do with a team plan and how you're interacting with the STEM community. So that's, engineers in your community, mechanics, things, other experts you can lean on. Motivate is talking about an organizational plan to fundraise and engage with the community and grow your team, because let's be honest, as you all go through school, you all are going to eventually graduate and leave your team. You may come back and be mentors. We encourage you to come back and be volunteers, of course, but the team will continue on. And there's going to be a legacy, and you want to keep that going. So how are you going to bring new people in? Then you got your Machine Create Innovate Awards. Innovate is, of course, an innovative or unique robot design or component to the challenge that we're doing. Control Award, many people mistake it for just the Autonomous Award winner. That's not always true, even though autonomous is where your robot can shine. It is how you can use sensors and programming through the entire 2 minutes, 30 seconds. Then you got your Design Award, which is Form, Function, Aesthetics. If you all have not talked to or have seen Project Peacock, definitely talk to them. Definitely talk to them on Discord. They can do a lot of great work for you. And a lot of other teams have done some very interesting designs. So, continuing on with the awards real quick, you saw that I said MCI and TA, so I just want to break it down real quick what that means in terms of the grouping of awards. We use different categories of awards in first. The Think Award stands on its own. Again, that's your engineering journey. Then you got what's called MCI, which is Machine Create Innovate. That's your STEM awards, your more engineering specific awards. You got your Team Attributes Awards, or your TA. That's your Connect and Motivate Award. And like we mentioned before, Best in Show is your Inspire Award. So you got to hit on at least one MCI and one TA to be in the running for the Inspire Award, but you should also have a strong engineering portfolio. No team ever gets immediately nominated for the Inspire Award in judging at all. They have to be built up to that. That also allows them to be considered for different awards because it can get pretty competitive, and we don't want you to be just considered for one award and then you get second place Inspire and no first when you could have been considered for a lot of other awards. But remember, through all this, you'll hear the term come up a lot in Game Manual Part 1 and Part 2, gracious professionalism. On and off the field, so of course gracious professionalism in judging sessions and to your team, but also when you're out on the field. The judge and judge advisor do talk to the referees and the cuers and other coaches and mentors, so we never really have any problems in Oklahoma with this, but again, just understanding that we're a volunteer organization and we're trying to do the best for everybody. So just know that anything that could be considered egregious or non-gracious professionalism could hurt your chances of winning an award, because that is the first bullet in every award. Team demonstrates gracious professionalism. To be considered for those awards, you have to meet a certain list of criteria, and Game Manual Part 1 has a lot of bullet points and paragraphs to talk about this, but the 3 words you should focus on are the must, the should, and the could. The must is your hard requirement. You have to tick all those must boxes to be considered for that award. Should is, of course, higher teams may demonstrate this, but you're not required to. And could is ways you could tackle that problem. And it's not set in stone. If you don't see it in the portfolio or in Game Manual Part 1, it doesn't mean you can't do it. Just come ask me. Come ask one of us, and we can give you an idea if you're on the right track or not. We'll hammer this home quite a bit, but the engineering portfolio, which we'll talk about in a little bit, if you miss any of the musts, again, you can't be considered for that award. It sucks, I get it, but I've been in judging sessions where they missed one must, and that is Game Manual Part 1. All of you have it, you're held to the same rules, and that's just the way it is. However, while the must requirements must be in the engineering portfolio, even if you only mention it in one sentence, that's where your judging interviews come in handy. It's not going to be just, here's 15 pages and sit down and go play the game. You're going to talk to the judges. So let's get to those actual sessions. So sessions are outlined again in Game Manual Part 1. They only occur at the league tournaments and the regional championship, otherwise known as state. So when you go to your league meets, which many of you will go to at least maybe 3 throughout the season, don't think that you're going to have to be judged every single time you go to those league meets. Just play the game. You'll have 2 opportunities with the judges at the league tournaments and state. The first one is a pre-scheduled 15-minute interview. You get up to 5 minutes of uninterrupted time to speak about whatever you want. If you want to do a skit, if you want to talk about your robot and your outreach, however you want to present to the judges, 5 minutes is yours. You're not required to do 5 minutes, but you get no more than 5 minutes. If you decide not to do a skit, that's okay. It doesn't hurt you at all, but it just means you get more time in the question and answer session. After your presentation's done, we just go into a Q&A session with the judges, and the judges will start trying to cover all the award areas. This is where you use all your different team members to your strengths. Have your programmer talk, have your outreach talk. It's encouraged that you bring the robot to the presentation, but it's not required. And most importantly, some teams have asked us, we don't care whether the robot has passed inspection or not. We are not the robot inspectors, we are the judges. What you do with the inspectors is up to the inspectors, but you're not required to bring it, and you can still win the awards if you don't bring the robot, but it's great to visualize it. In that morning interview, you will submit up to 3 things. The first one you will have to submit if you want any awards. It's the engineering portfolio. We'll talk about that later on. The next 2 are optional, but the control award is optional. However, if you want to go for the control award, which is again your autonomous and your sensors, you need to submit the form. It's in Game Manual Part 1. It has a nice big blank on it that says, to be updated September 9th, 2022. I wonder what goes in that big blank. The field. So that form will be updated later today, and they'll update Game Manual Part 1 as well. Then there's a judging feedback form, which they have had for the past couple years. I'm going to level with the mentors and coaches real briefly. If you have ever been in FLL, you may have seen their feedback form of what you can improve on and what good work you had. FTC does not do that. They do more of on a scale 1 to 5, how did you achieve in this area? The feedback form does leave a lot to be desired, I'll be honest. But you know, that is the way that first sanctions that FTC teams get their feedback. So you're not required to submit one, but if you want feedback, I think it's describe gracious professionalism in 200 words or less. What's your goals for the season? How many kids are in? Where are you from? And then you hand it to judges. So we can talk about that later in the season. So just know that moving forward. After the initial interview, we'll go through deliberations. Then you'll have the pit interview. You guys will play the game in, again, the league tournaments and the state. The judges will be circling, and then they'll do 5 to 10 minute interviews, just unannounced. We don't have a time slot of when we're going to do, you know, Bishop Kelly, then Grove, then, you know, this team and this team. But, you know, don't panic if you forget to mention something in the initial interview. Go, oh crap, I forgot this. That's where your follow-up interview can come in. You can mention it to the judges there, and they're going to be looking through your portfolio and going, hey, so I saw you did some outreach at Tinkerfest. Can you explain a little more about what you did? Did you get any new mentors there? I always recommend that teams have at least one member from their team at the pit area at all times, just to know where the team is. Don't worry. That person who sits there should not draw the shortest straw. They're not required to answer all the questions, but they should be able to go, my team's playing a match, can you come back in 5 or 10 minutes? So it's always nice to know where they are so the judges can talk to them, because you know there's a lot of judges circling too. Quick do's and don'ts. If you have a 5-minute presentation, of course practice it, but don't read from script. You know, it's supposed to be a genuine conversation. Share the spotlight, otherwise known as there is no I in team. You know, you have programmers, you have designers, you have portfolio, you have an outreach. Let them all speak. It's hard to do in 15 minutes, but you know, the more people that speak, the better that can look to the judges. Share the knowledge. While you may be very specific in what you learn, you know, you may be your programmer for your team, you may be your outreach. It doesn't hurt to know, you know, a few of the basic components of the robot, or who are you reaching out to, because, you know, as you've seen throughout the past couple years and things happen, you know, people get sick, people have to, you know, not show up, people can't speak, they lose their voice, you know. Just be prepared to have a little side knowledge on something else, and it'll help everybody else in the end. In Game Manual Part 1, there is Appendix F, which deals with what it means to mentor or host an event. Those really come into their own during the Connect and Motivate Awards. And finally, hard to do, easy to say, but it's true, relax, okay? It's hard, you know, I get it. Even in my professional environment, speaking to people in the front of a room is hard. But at the same time, it's hard too when the judges are scribbling down notes and don't worry about it. They're here. This is a volunteer organization. They're here for you. They're here to recognize you and possibly give you an award and hear your story. So just let it come out. Don't forget, you can of course put a little personality into your presentation, however you want to do it. Just make sure that you're trying to be professional too. Someone brought up before about, yeah, you can bring your mascot into the presentation room, but just know the boundaries of, you know, don't let the mascot continue to do cartwheels throughout the room, and, you know, just understand that mascot needs to be in certain spaces during the presentation and on the field. You know, for instance, they can't be within like the driver's stations or things like that. review the musts for the awards. Those are easy questions that the judges can ask. If we think that you're missing something, an easy question we'll go to is, so did you reach out to any mentors this year? Have you gained any new members? You know, those are the easy, low-hanging fruit questions the judges can ask. And your pit interview can follow up on anything that you have missed. And of course, read the manuals, read the manuals, read the manuals. I am running out of time, so I'm going to try and go through the portfolio. The final slides are just resources, and again, we're going to hand those out later on the PowerPoint, so I don't want to hammer too hard on this. I want to get through the portfolio and get to questions and answers and get you on your way. The thing that I've been talking about the entire time, the engineering portfolio. The engineering portfolio is required to be submitted if you want to be considered for awards. Game Manual Section 9.3 talks about it, and again, we've hammered on the musts by now. You must do this, you must do this. Some other highlights: it can't be more than 15 pages long, plus a cover sheet, so technically 16 pages. Anything longer than that, we won't read it, we won't consider it, it won't exist. Please use at least a 10-point font. You know, don't little microscopic ant font to try and get more paragraphs in. Photos and graphics and CAD images are welcome. We encourage them, but this was more for when we were submitting digital portfolios, but links and videos and QR codes won't be followed. So, again, the engineering portfolio, similar to the judging sessions, is only done at your league tournament and your regional tournament. So, when you're going to your league meets, don't worry about trying to get a judging session together and get a portfolio together. Come with your robot, play the game. Take notes on how you did, you know, what lessons you learned, because they can put that in the portfolio, but don't focus too hard on, you know, your judging. That won't come until maybe the January, December time frame. In Game Manual Part 1, you'll see two words. You'll see an engineering portfolio and an engineering notebook, and for some reason they put the notebook section before the portfolio section, and it can be very confusing. So just remember, the portfolio is required to win judged awards, and it has a lot more strict requirements. The 15 pages. The team number must appear on the front of it. And you're doing your executive summary. Your notebook used to be the term of what we use to submit to the judges, but they've gotten rid of that. You're not even required to have a notebook. If you want a notebook, great. It's something you can use to help reference when you talk to the judges, but the notebook is what you make of it. If you want to organize it in a Google Drive, great. If you want to make an actual physical binder, great. It's just the judges will not accept it at the event. And remember that even though this is technically day 0 of the season, with the field officially being revealed real soon, your outreach, which is specific to every season, your outreach can be counted for this season starting at the end of the last event that you participated in. So for instance, Bishop Kelly, it's World Championships. For the rest of other teams, it could have been state. For other ones, it could have been the tournament that you went to. So just, you can backdate through June, July, August. You can backdate on those outreach events. Best practices, the engineering portfolio, while first gives you a roadmap to success, it's all about how you want to execute on it. And you can do this chronologically, you can do it by robot outreach, you can do it as a journal entry, however you would like to do it, but you can also flag different sections and say, you know, in this section we're going to be covering the Connect, Innovate, and Motivate awards. You can do that. Build your engineering portfolio now. It's easy to get lost in the game, and I know many of you are going to immediately dive into building the robot in Game Manual Part 2, but your engineering portfolio is a journey throughout the season. So build it now. You can refine it later. Document as you go. If you didn't write it down, it didn't happen. Of course, phones have become more accessible today, so you know you can take a snap quick photo. It takes only 5 seconds. Judges don't need to know every single time you turn to Volt. But you know, if you say, hey, I'm thinking about whiteboarding out a new robot design, take a photo of it. If you use it for your portfolio, great. If you didn't, it took 5 seconds to take that photo, and no harm, no foul. If you put a photo in your portfolio, write a caption for it, or a quick sentence. And put most important information in engineering portfolio, let your notebook or let your discussions expand on those. And some final best practices too, similar to the presentation, balance professionalism and personality. You can have your team colors in there, you can have graphics. It doesn't just have to be 15 pages of plain white paper. You can do what you want with it, but just remember, it has to be legible. Please review the final copy before you submit it to the judges. We've had, pretend your parents are reading it, pretend your coaches and mentors are reading it. We've had some portfolios that have had some less than gracious professionalism in it, and it was, it's always a difficult situation to get around. The other thing too is that I understand that all of you are competing as a team against each other, but similar in the first mantra, ask other teams for help. Hey, how are you doing the portfolio? Can you give me some ideas? And I get it. You don't want to give away all your trade secrets. That's hard. It's especially hard, for the teams that, they've done great throughout the season, but you can learn stuff from other teams. Teams can agree to swap portfolios if you want to. You don't have to ask me. You can do that if both you agree, but just remember, if you end up agreeing to swap portfolios at any point, don't share that information with the rest of the state unless that team gives you permission. And just don't leak information. You'll notice that we're not sharing everybody's portfolio at the end of every season because it's one of those just judging things. And we'd have to get permission from all of them. And with that, I do have some QR codes and other things, and I think I am running out of time. So before I just start Vanna Whiting a bunch of QR codes on the screen, does anybody have any questions? Anything they want to ask? That's okay. We'll be here throughout the kickoff today. I'll be with Miss Ingrid. I'll be in the blue shirt. We are also on the Discord, so I'm going to flash real quickly through. I'm going to skip through some of them, but the slides will be sent out to you with a link with Travis, but we'll do the QR code. And we can talk later about the question and answer system. Miss Ingrid will have quite a bit to say about that. The game materials are out in the open, but you'll notice that if you look at the website today, it says Game Manual Part 1 and there's a blank. Game Manual Part 2 will come out in a couple of hours. Technical documentation is out there. It is newly reformatted for this season, but they have stuff for the rookies, the veterans, the coaches and the mentors, programming, judging. This is kind of new. It's version 0.1 as of right now, so it's very early development, but it's very similar to what FRC has gone to. And finally, the Discord. Janet mentioned it, but this is the group chat. If you have any questions, you can come privately to us, but there is, for instance, the judging portfolio chat. If you want to talk to me, I'm pretty quick to answer unless I'm at work. Game rules and strategy, that's basically your digital question box. Doesn't hurt to ask the question. If one of you has the question, there are probably others in the room that have it. Coaches and mentors are free to join it too. We have some rules in place and other mod stuff, so there's some fun in there, but at the same time it is professional still. And finally, your resources in addition to the Discord, the 3 key people. You have your program delivery partner, Travis Smith. He'll be sending out a lot of the newsletters that you'll be seeing. You got Miss Ingrid Law in the purple hair. She'll be talking through your field today. She is your lead head referee and first senior mentor. Of course, my name is Chris Silvano. I am your regional lead judge advisor. Ms. Ingrid and I do have contacts to First Headquarters. We talk to First Headquarters every month, and we talk to different regions every month. So if there's a question you think that's not being answered, bring it to us, and we can bring it to Headquarters and probably get you an answer pretty quickly. And with that, we're at the very end. This PowerPoint may be updated with any questions any other teams have, but final go. Any questions? Anything? All right, I think that's it. Thank you very much for coming, and you guys have a good day.